Yeah, well, one reason is exactly what we saw in Parliament today. The Prime Minister absolutely salivating about this, naming you as someone who's bringing joy to his life by talking about a policy direction, scrapping net zero, that Labor reckons, oh, they can win this. The public really, really backs it. And look, the polls show the public does back it. What's your answer to the Liberals that, you've got to support a policy that's going to kill you in the polls?
Well, I think there's a word for this, Andrew. It's called hubris. It's called pride before a fall. And there's been many examples before where people don't end up thanking or being happy for what they wished for. And so let's just see what happens here, because I've seen this movie many times before. I've seen many instances where the polls say one thing, and as soon as someone has the guts to say the emperor has no clothes, those polls turn around very quickly. I mean, we've seen it in the last Parliament with The Voice. I saw the Prime Minister just as cock a hoop about The Voice. He was goading and encouraging the Liberal National parties to oppose his uber popular voice. And within a year, he was ashen-faced and had a very different reaction to what the position the coalition said. And I see this playing out very similar if we have the guts and gumption to stand up for the Australian people, because the one question we should be asking the Prime Minister right now is, what is his plan to lower energy prices? What is his plan to lower energy prices? And if we have a firm alternative position on how we should use our energy resources, our priorities, I think he's going to stumble and waffle and look completely lost at any attempt to answer that.
Yeah, but you can only win that. You can only win that, Matt, if you have leadership that is fully and passionately committed to the facts. They know in their gut this direction is wrong. I'm not sure you got that at the moment.
Absolutely.
But this theory about global warming, this is the other thing, Matt, is so extreme. And media organisations so committed to the global warming religion. You're against his theory like this from popular podcaster Abbie Chatfield, who's chosen, as you know, by the Prime Minister for one of his campaign interviews. Look at this.
How do you rationalise having a baby with the climate crisis? I'm not asking this as a gotcha. I'm not going, how dare you? I'm genuinely asking, because I want kids. I just don't feel that it's possible for me to have them with the climate collapse happening right now. It seems as though we only have max 100 years left.
Matt Canavan, I'm delighted if people like Abbie Chatfield decide to breathe themselves out. But when you get influential Australians actually claiming we've only got 100 years left on this planet, how can you win?
Well, I think the response is pretty simple in this case. We can argue the toss over whether climate change is an existential issue for the human race, but if we don't have babies, we'll definitely go extinct. The clock's ticking. If we all don't have children, at some point, probably in the next 100 years, I think many of us will live longer than that, we all go extinct. So if you actually care about the human race continuing, if that's your goal and objective, guess what? You've got to have babies. Someone's got to do it. I've been happy to do it with my wife 5 times. It's wonderful. The message I'd tell the Australian people is there's not greater joy in your life than seeing your young children grow up and achieve and succeed. And ultimately, I'm an optimist, Andrew. I think we've got a great country. I do think the Australian people will eventually wake up. The old saying is true. Australia is very good at managing adversity. And we're getting into a bit of adversity right now. We're just very poor at managing prosperity, and maybe that explains the position we're in.
I'll tell you what we're poor at. We're poor at arguing and listening to facts and reason. And that is a criticism I could make of many Liberals. Don't have the courage to argue on the facts. Matt Canavan, you have that courage. Thank you so much for your time.